Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are looking at Love in the Stacks by Julie Milo. Um, this was such an enjoyable book. I just kept sitting there thinking, Julie, why are you writing about me like that? That's not nice. Um, I mean, my hair's not purple, and I would never be able to pull off that dress. But uh, yeah, Nicole is definitely me. Um, I really liked how Julie got into like the mindset of someone who deals with anxiety and different mental illnesses. A lot of the things that um, Nicole is dealing with, like at one point she's at home and like I said, it's just so me because she gets home and she takes a shower and she gets into like sweats and comfy clothes, which is what I basically live in the evenings. And uh it's just her, so she's like, "Oh, I'm going to relax before I try to figure out what dinner is." And uh she talks about how unprompted and scheduled or whatever, like just without any outside invitation, her mind starts going through basically every interaction she's had that day. And like at one point, one of her coworkers came in and was talking about their um, cinnamon raisin bagel, and without even thinking about it, Nicole's like, "Oh, I don't like raisins," and she's like, "Why did I say that? Like, did it come off as snooty? Did it come off as dismissive or judgmental or disgusted?" And and she's like, "Why couldn't I have just talked about the, oh, I like this kind of cream cheese on my bagel," or something like that, something that could help me actually connect with this person. And when you have anxiety, connecting with people is so incredibly difficult. um your your mind just doesn't connect the way that you feel like everybody else does. And her she makes the mention that her therapist was like, not everybody overanalyzes every single conversation they have with people the same way you do. And she's like, okay, fair, but still, how do I stop it? How do I stop that spiral? um it's like, um I had a weekend where I was completely free for the weekend. For the first time in like forever, it seemed like I didn't have I didn't have to work. I didn't have anything going on for a Saturday, and I was like, okay, I have this Saturday and I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to do anything. So, I start hitting up my friends, and um it's one of my friends, she's getting her daughter ready for prom, and it's like, okay, well, that's a special moment. You absolutely need to go and get your daughter ready for prom. And of course, I'm not going to step in on that because that's a very special, mother-daughter bonding thing. I remember my first prom, or my prom, when my mom, it was just me and my mom getting my hair and my makeup done and doing the dress shopping and everything, and it was great. I enjoyed it. And I think I would have resented anyone being there. um so yeah, when my friend was like, "Oh yeah, my daughter, I've got to get her ready for prom," I was just like, "Go get your daughter ready for prom. That's amazing. I love that for you." Another friend was going out of town on a trip. Another friend was sick, and it's like, the mental spiral is, "Oh, I'm completely unwanted. Nobody wants to be around me," and it's obviously not the case. Because it's just the normal brain says, "Oh, everybody's busy, so I guess I can just do whatever I want to do." My husband had a project he was had to go and help somebody else out with. And um it's easy to get into, when you have anxiety and depression, it's easy to get into that mindset of, "Oh, well, I guess I'm just completely unwanted, then that's fine," you know. um Whereas normal people, and what I eventually did realize, was that it wasn't that nobody wanted me, because obviously that wasn't the case. These are people that normally want to be around me. Uh, but what I realized is, well, my husband's going to be out of the house. None of my friends want to, none of my friends are free to go and do anything, which means I have the whole house to myself. I can reorganize my office. I can work on my novel. I can, um, work on a quilt. I can do whatever I want. And nobody's going to judge me for it. Nobody's going to stop me from doing it. And I can just kind of be on my own and do my own thing. So I cranked up my music and I worked on my novel for a little bit, and then I just kind of took myself for a drive in town, and I came back, I took a nap, and got up and read some more. I actually finished this book. Um and like like I said, it was an enjoyable, it was just an all around enjoyable day. Um but yeah, so uh like I said, there's that juxtaposition. There's that I don't think juxtaposition is the right word, but there's that um duality of, like, you're there's the normal sane part of you that says, um everybody's busy so you can do what you want, and then there's the anxiety part of you that says nobody actually likes you. And like her therapist told her, you're not important enough to people for them to think that much about a comment about raisins. They're like, okay, she doesn't like raisins. I do. you know, and they go about their day while you're spiraling. Um, but I like how she gets into that mindset, because, like I said, that it's a very real thing where you people with um those depression and anxiety and whatnot, that they do spiral like that, and they uh everything is taken to an extreme. The whole reason her and Alan are working together, Adam, I did the same thing she did. So when she first meets Alan, Adam, she calls him Alex, actually, and everyone's like, his name is Adam, right? And she's like, what did I say? And they're like, you called him Alex, and she's like, oh yeah, oops. Uh, but yeah, his name is Adam. I do know your name, Adam. Sorry. Um, but apologizing to fictional characters now. Uh, but when she works at they both work at a library. He is a cataloging library, and she's more, in the reference section and everything. And she wants to. They work in a college library, and she wants to float the idea of a graphic novel section that could tie into the academic curriculum. And the director is very on board with this, but he also knows that Nicole has a tendency of getting overexcited or over enthusiastic about things, so she can kind of get a little carried away and push the envelope a little bit too far. And he already has people breathing down his neck saying, hey, we need to we want to be a little bit more involved in what you're buying for the library, which is their way of saying, we're interested in censoring what you're putting in the library and removing anything that might be potentially offensive. And uh, Adam refers to those kind of thought patterns as touchy feely. They're a little touchy feely about things being certain subjects being in the um, library, and whatnot. And so the director tells Adam, he's like, I think that you are the best potential to rein her in and keep her from getting anything that might get us in trouble. We want this to succeed. So let's give it its best chance by making sure that we can easily defend anything that she suggests we bring in. And so when she's hearing this, rather than saying, hey, I want this to succeed and I think that this team up is the best way to make your project succeed, she hears, I think that's a great idea, but I want you to have a babysitter. And she's like, I don't need a babysitter. And even Adam was like, I have no intention of babysitting you or vetoing your suggestions. My job is to help make sure that any suggestions that you bring into the library are defendable and that we can keep them. Otherwise, the whole thing gets canned, you know. Um, and right off the bat, even by the I wouldn't say the second, it's like the fourth chapter, because the first chapter is Nicole's, and they typically bounce back and forth between Nicole and Adam until we get to Christmas break, and then it's like you got a couple of Nicole chapters back to back. Um, you do have a couple of those of Adam and Nicole, Adam Nicole, Adam Nicole, Nicole Adam, you know. Um, and I one of the things I love the little artwork there. Each chapter has this little heart artwork that's really cute. Um, but in like I think the third chapter when it's Adam's no fourth chapter when it's Adam, you get this little side by side of what Nicole and Adam's home life is like. They both live alone. Nicole lives in I believe a little apartment with a balcony, and she likes to sit on the balcony when it's warmer, when the night during the nicer um months, which it's Florida, so most of the nicer months are winter. It's not too terribly chilly, and like it's not summer when it's like blazing hot. But like in this case, the it takes place in November, and so she's sitting on the back porch on her back balcony, um eating, and like she gets home, she gets a shower, she gets into her comfy clothes, and she lets her brain just go on a whirlwind of spiraling, and then she's like, okay, now I need to figure out dinner. And like she has no plan for dinner. She gets home, she gets a shower, gets comfy and everything, and then it's like, oh yeah, dinner is something I should probably do. And then she goes out to the kitchen and she's like, what do I get? Okay, I got some pasta, I got some sauce, I got some frozen vegetables. Yeah, that works. You know, and then she carries it all out to the patio to eat and read on her Kindle or her tablet or whatever. I like how she has preferences. For me personally, I am a physical book person. I don't really like ebooks a lot myself. I spend so much time staring at computers already because of the YouTube channel and the social media, keeping staying up to date with the threads and the Instagram and the social media accounts, and writing my own books. So I stare enough at screens that I don't need to do it for reading as well. But I will also, there are certain things that I would rather just have the audio book. Um, like, I really enjoy the dramatized Agatha Christie books and reading them, listening to them on my audiobook while I'm like mowing the yard. And sometimes some of these books are available for um, audiobook, and I can get those as audiobooks. Some of them are a little bit more expensive because they're not just when you're self-publishing, especially through sites like Amazon, most of it is free, but like with an audiobook, unless you're going to get a Gen AI voiceover, that computerized voice that reads it, which I absolutely do not recommend because AI sucks when it comes to AI just doesn't have any place, in my opinion, in creativity. Uh, you know, I don't understand the people that use AI to write a book. Like, write the book or don't, but don't use AI. You know, um, same with the covers. Like, I would much rather have like with my own cover of my Tawny Dellis series. That's just a picture of my woodpile from my backyard and my husband's rusty axe. I would much rather someone take a home picture and use that as their cover than to steal somebody's artwork. Um, but uh, she, when she's sitting there and she's making her dinner and everything, it like I feel the same way. I was like, I'm not gonna sit here. I try to meal plan. I really do. And even she's like, I really should meal plan. I should be better at meal planning and like act like an adult, but it's so exhausting. And it is. Like I have told my husband a couple of times when I'm out there looking around for dinner, and it's like I have the energy to make dinner. I don't have the energy to figure out what to make for dinner. So you know, a lot of times I'll have him just like pick something out. A lot of times, first thing in the morning, one of the things I'll do if I'm going to be home that day, like if I've got the day off and I'm just hanging out at the house, I'll ask him, choose a protein because we have beef, we have chicken, and we have pork almost always on hand. So I just tell him, pick a protein. He picks a protein and whatever, and he never says like, if he says pork, he would never. He doesn't say like a pork roast or a pork chops or ground pork or anything. He just says pork, and then I go and see what we have in the pork department and decide, okay, well, you know what? This sounds good. Pork chops and some steamed broccoli and rice, or something to that effect. Or um, maybe it's steamed broccoli and roasted potatoes because those are easy to do. I still have not figured out how to make rice well. Usually, my cooking rice means that the rice is burned to the bottom of the pan. Uh, at least a layer is burnt to the pan. Now my husband, I usually if there's rice to be made, I have him do it. Um, but yeah, so Nicole goes home and she's making dinner and like it's just something easy. And for her, like I said, she has this. I like my um graphic novels in physical form, but I like my um other fiction stories on my tablet. And I like I said, that's so real for a reader because I don't think I've met a reader that has only one preferred medium where they're like, I only read the physical books, or I only read ebooks, or I only read audiobooks. Um, I do have a friend at church that she predominantly reads on her e-reader just because like Nicole says, it's convenient, it's easy, it doesn't take up a whole lot of room. I can have like 50 books all on this one little tablet. But she does have physical copies of books and in her home too. So for me, like I said, it's audiobooks. And like I said, the audiobooks are a little bit more expensive because um, the self-published writer also has to pay the voice actor as well, or actress, and as the case may be. Um, so I don't have a problem paying a little bit more for an audiobook, especially when a real person has been hired to read the book. And Nicole goes to bed and no mention of setting up anything for the next morning. It's just read my book, eat my dinner, go to bed. Then you have the very next chapter, and it's Adam, and he's at work, and he's at home, and he's coming home, and he sets his computer bag down at the on the couch, grabs his dog's leash, takes her for a walk. He comes back home, and he starts making dinner, and he actually makes dinner, and like every Wednesday, it's the same meal. It's salmon with some wild rice and um, did he say a vegetable? I think he's also a broccoli person. What did I say it was in chapter? Okay, I was wrong. Yeah, chapter 4. Pull my driveway. That's the other thing is Adam has a car and Nicole doesn't. Um, Yeah, he changes from into athletic shorts and a t-shirt. She's in sweatshirts and a t-shirt. Um Wednesday night, I have pan seared salmon for dinner. I line up the ingredients on the kitchen counter: a salmon fillet of extra virgin olive oil, salt, and pepper. I also make wild rice, microwavable in a pouch. Not that I can't make it myself, but it just feels like there's not much point when it's just me. Finally, I have some fresh green beans. I'll steam it on the stove. Um, Fresh green beans. That's ambitious. Fresh green beans for me is I freshly opened a can of green beans. Um, and they're not getting steamed. They're right into the pot. Um, but again, I am very much Nicole in this case. And even when they're eating lunch together, they're talking about their lunches. She's comparing their lunches, and she's like, his salad looks good. It even has three different kinds of vegetables, which honestly, again, ambitious. My salads is it's like, I mean, lettuce is a vegetable, but I understand what she means with three different kinds of vegetables because if you don't count the lettuce, so he's got like lettuce, maybe tomatoes and cucumbers and some carrots in there, and then she points out that there might even be she thinks she sees even some chicken in there. Meanwhile, she's sitting there eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and a Dr. Pepper and chips with a doc and drinking it down with a Dr. Pepper, and it's like, yeah, girl, same. And she's like, "Well, a Dr. Pepper, of course, because I'm a Texas girl." It's like, I am an Indiana girl, and I drink Dr. Pepper with my PB&J. I'm not as big on chips, but if I'm going to eat chips, it's going to be like the Frito corn chips. Um, but yeah, like I said, this right here is me, except she can pull off purple hair and a dress. This dress, I don't know that I could pull off that dress. I definitely could not pull off the hair. Um, but uh what I thought was there's one part where I thought it was just funny to me, and I guess if you're a reader, um, and you're seeing it, you see the humor. You might see the humor in it too. The There's one point when she's talking about Gilmore Girls, which is arguably one of the best shows in the history of TV shows. Um, but she is describing Luke as being this introverted guy who can cook, and I'm just sitting there thinking, duh, wake up. Um, I agree with Adam's mentor. Um, Gosh, what was his name? Dr. Parker? Yeah. Dr. Parker. Um, like, introduce her to your dog because he does have a dog. So for anybody who is like looking at this book and is like, give me a reason to pick up this book, dog. Also Gilmore Girls, because the book definitely has Gilmore Girl vibes. Um, this is I could definitely see uh the kind of Lorelai Luke reference here as like uh they are definitely Luke and Lorelai adjacent, these two. Um I do like how Nicole keeps sticking her foot in her mouth. There's times like she just says things like whatever filter most normal people have in their heads where they have a thought and they're like, "Hey, let's either edit that before it comes out of our mouth or let's just not let that come out of our mouth at all." Uh, Nicole doesn't have that, neither do I. So when like she'll say things like, um, he he'll say something and she's like, it's such a good moment though. I don't want to ruin that, but like she'll say things like that come off as hurtful, and she even like, "Oh, sorry, uh, didn't mean to say that." And like, even if she doesn't say, like, even if she gets to a point where she can say, she does have those moments where she is almost congratulating herself because she says, "Hey, I had a thought and I did not let it come out of my mouth. Go me." But then looks at the other person and she realizes her voice didn't say it, but her face absolutely said it. And it's like, "Oh, oops, left the subtitles on again." Uh, you know. Um I just love Nicole so much. Uh but yeah, she comes off as being very um cool and confident. Like, even Adam is like, that girl's out of my league because she is cool, she's confident, she's in control. She knows who she is, and she's like fumbling through going, Was that weird? That was weird. Wasn't that weird? That was weird. That was really weird. Why did I say that?" Like, she is second guessing everything she says and does, and she is just as awkward mentally as he is physically. And they complement each other so well because, like, internally, he is very cool. He understands, like, he's hip to, like, memes and uh gifs and all these other different, like, uh he's not a comic book nerd, and like, she is absolutely a comic book and graphic novel nerd, and she explains to him the difference between comics and graphic novels. And at first she's like she gets kind of carried away, and then she kind of reins herself in, and she's like, "Oh, sorry, I'm rambling." And he's like, "No, keep rambling, keep going. I want to know more." And so for the first time she has this, sorry, captive audience of somebody who not only doesn't really know anything about graphic novels and comic books, but like, he wants to learn more about the graphic novels and comic books, and he's interested in letting her just run away with conversation and just embrace that passion, which she really likes. I also really liked her relationship with her sisters, where she's got a group chat with her two sisters, Molly and Olivia, and um, they are merciless when they find out that she's texting Adam, and she's like, "He's a coworker," and they're like, "Mm-hmm, a male coworker," and she's like, "Yeah, he's a male coworker." She's like, "Is he your age?" And she's like, "Well, he's young." And they're like, "Mm-hmm." And she's like, "Guys, shut up." You know, uh, she she has a really good relationship with, and you can tell that, yeah, they're picking on her, but it comes from a place of love. It's absolutely the kind of relationship I have with my little brother, where if I were still dating, he'd be like, "Mm-hmm. What's it? Is he cute? No, I don't know. I wasn't noticing. Mm-hmm. The smile on your phone says the smile you have when you're looking at your phone says differently." Um. So yeah, like I said, I feel like Julie just took me, put me in this character, and then changed my brothers to sisters and just wrote about it. I'm on to you, Julie. Uh, I, I I appreciate it. I love that you think I could pull this off. But yeah, if you guys are Gilmore Girl fans and uh, you like that kind of representation, especially if you're the kind of person like me that has those anxiety and those spirally thoughts, and you want to see yourself in a book like this, I think you'll identify with Nicole as well, and you'll be doing the same thing. Like, "Hey, Julie, why are you writing about me like that?" Um, and even guys, like, I think that there's a lot of guys that Adam is very much, he's very adorkable, and we love him. So as usual, I will put the link to the book in the description. along with my address for anybody who wants to send, if you have a self-published book or an indie authored book that you want to send, that you want to be considered for um, the channel, you're more than welcome. I will always, right now completely open to accepting anybody sending me books, but don't feel like you have to either. Um, so, uh, like I said, this is one of them that I bought. So I do buy self-published books for this channel, um, and sometimes I get some sent to me. Like, what was the last one that I read that got sent to me? Paragon Exordium uh, was sent to me, I think, and so was, what was the what? Oh yeah, this one, the of Perfect Spirit. That was one that was sent to me that I really liked. Um, some of these I just got one sent to me. I haven't gotten to yet to read yet to decide if it's gonna get featured. But yeah, this one definitely go pick it up and give it a read. I think you're gonna really like it. All right, that's it from me. I will see you guys later. Bye.